So today I'm very excited to be with Joel Solomon. He is in the Awaken Company, a key contributor, and also author of The Clean Money Revolution, chair of Renewal Funds, and chair of Hollyhock. He is a force for the good, and let me tell you, some of the statements he said when I was interviewing him have stuck with me. And one of the things, Joel, that you stuck with me, and it's in your book, is the question, how much is enough?
What a great question.
That's your question, Joel. So what does that mean, and how did you kind of come up with that brilliant question?
You're very kind.
It's true.
I would say that in the 60s, when I was being formed as an adolescent and teenager, watching questioning of everything in society. I grew up in the southern U.S. in Tennessee, and I've had fairly progressive parents, and that probably helped. But I was really questioning a lot of things, Vietnam War going on, and a lot of unrest. And gradually I started to think about how did I get here? Why am I here? Why do I have such a good life? Why do I see around me so many other complexities? So that led me down the path of exploration of where did it all come from and what's the heritage that led us here, which brought me into questions about, let's say, colonialism and what the mindset was in that era, and out of which, or part of the best known part of capitalism, which is let's go find things that we can take advantage of for financial gain. That doesn't have to be negative, but it of course can be. And then I grew up, looking for meaning and purpose, and I wanted to know meaning and purpose, and pretty much as a privileged white male from a family that had pulled up from immigrant to a rising middle class and then towards upper class financially. I was like, well, how did I get all this and why? And then became, well, if the meaning of life is I'm supposed to make a lot of money, that seems a little empty. Like there's some other things. Money's good. I like money. I like to be able to do things. Money has a lot of power and influence to it. It can be used for great goods. Libraries all over, the continent, all kinds of things that have happened that have been wonderful from philanthropy and the use of money. But it seemed like the religion had become make as much money as you can and then make more. And I didn't really see the meaning of that. Using money well, I understood. So in any case, I began to ask, well, if making $1 billion is the only way to be considered worthy, like I've actually become somebody, whether it's through sports or entertainment or business or corruption, I guess that's business too, can be business. I moved to the question of, well, what really is enough? I inherited $3 million. That seemed like an overwhelming amount of money 30 years ago. I now understand a lot more, and I know that modern affluent lifestyles can actually cost a lot of money, but there's still a limit. Like when you have 100 million, when you have 200 million, when you have 500 million, when you have $1 billion, I don't even really get why it's legal. Or, well, let me say it a different way. Why are there not higher taxes? I'm all for ambition and motivation and success and building things that matter. But how much is enough personally, and what is it I'm really trying to fulfill by looking at walking into the vault and counting all my jewels. Like I just didn't get it.
And so how much is enough? You know, it's a question I've asked a lot of people, thanks to you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like how much is enough? And so what would you say if you were to counsel somebody? How much is enough?
Well, I say you need to think about that question a lot. And I'll just tell you what my enough is. After how much is enough, and really before it, but there's a hand in hand, which is what's my meaning and purpose? What's my life for? So if I'm being contributory, I'm willing to flow through an unlimited amount of money. There would be no enough. As long as I'm doing things constructive and I'm passing it on into as nourishment and fertilizer for other things, I'm willing to influence billions and billions of dollars. In fact, I now say my mission is to be part of moving trillions of dollars from damaging and destructive things to regeneration, so that we will have a future civilization in this Garden of Eden for people that come after us. What do I need to own personally? Well, I have a big sprawling family. I'd like to be able to give as many people as possible, first that are close to me and otherwise, the chance for a good education, the chance to be able to have the security of a safe home and food and basics. And my policy's been, well, $3 million, however many years ago that was. I moved to Canada and it became 5 million the day I moved because of the exchange rate at the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my net worth is somewhere in that zone. Because I don't do a stock market, I just, because I'm an entrepreneur, I can be involved in real estate, I can be involved in private companies. Most of what I have is fairly illiquid, and I don't know for sure exactly the net worth, but it's roughly in that zone because I concluded I had enough. I also earn money, and I do as many things as I can with that money to help what I care about. And I try to invest in the same way. I do, one of the parts of my investments personally is sprinkling money. And I consider it, I like to call it love money, because when I see an entrepreneur that I'm moved by and I think is doing something meaningful in the world, I just want to be part of it and help in some way. So I'm often the smallest investor but I'm in dozens and dozens of little entrepreneurial ventures, and I track those tax-wise, but I don't, it doesn't really matter, but some of them do grow much bigger. So, okay, I'm answering in a very long way. I'll just say enough is something that helps my spirit and soul relax, feel like I'm being an adequate provider for my responsibilities, that there's hopefully a little cushion in case things go wrong. And otherwise, my goal is to influence money, not own it.